Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by. This is going to be a little series that I'm doing on YouTube where I just kind of combine two things that I'm interested in, art and horror. So if you like listening to spooky talk in the background, then stick around. I plan on uploading every Friday. It's going to be a nice chill video series. So for my first doodle, it's actually going to be my own creation, Abyss. I have a couple YouTube videos now showing his different forms, but actually his first form was inspired by a kind of a horror story I heard online. I'm not sure if it was a creepypasta or what. Basically, I was just listening to scary stories in the background on YouTube, and there was one of this person working at a store. For some reason in my head I have that it's a Walmart. Not sure if that was in the story or not. But at the end of the guy's shift, he went out back, and in the parking lot there was it described a shadowy figure. It was lanky and had like long hands, long limbs, long fingers, something like that. And it was totally black and had two white orbs for eyes. The description of it just looming in the distance was just it was just such a creepy image that popped in my head. He basically told the story as if the creature was running after him, chasing him, and almost grabbing him before he made it back to the store. And it was intense, and it was so good and created such strong imagery. So I actually created the first what I call Abyss first form. I made that myself, kind of based off the creature in that story. I made the mask, and I made actually hands out of popsicle sticks. I saw these like long extended fingers that you could bend and flex, and instead of buying some, I just looked at someone's diagram online and just kind of made them out of popsicle sticks. It actually worked though, but they were just kind of really flimsy and just they'd fall apart more often than not. But I was proud of it nonetheless. So it was right before I took a trip to New Zealand, and I spent the year there. And like a few days before I was about to come back, I was sitting around, and I just had this image pop in my head of this looming, lurching, four-legged, hunchbacked creature just standing off in the distance. And that's kind of just the whole vibe of Abyss when I think of him, is just a silhouette that's couldn't be human, and it's just standing off in the distance, staring at you. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it can do. All you know is that it's just standing over there, and it's just watching you, and it doesn't look natural. And I love that. I love the idea of that. I love when horror movies do that. There's these creepy, lingering shots, and I don't know. It's just something about it. Also, if you could like, comment, and subscribe on this video, it'd probably help me get some traction for this channel. And not gonna lie, it'd probably give me some motivation to keep going too. Actually, my buddy invited me to be in a haunted trail thing that was going on, and I just wanted to make this thing, and I just wanted to stand off on a hill somewhere, walking around. And I wouldn't even like try to get close to people. I would just creep people out. So I even like just sketched it on my phone, like how I would like make it into a costume. Making the costume was actually very close to the design that I did in the rough sketch, and it ended up being pretty easy. Like things worked like immediately. I'm pretty sure I saw the original Spirit Walker video before I made this costume, so that probably inspired me to make my own. But then I saw other people kind of just copying, pasting from that video and just making the same creature, which is it's a really good design, but it's like, no, like that's them. Go make your own version of it. Like use a different face, use a different things on its back, use different shapes on its body, like different textures. I did want it to be somewhat humanoid, especially with the face. I really want that to be human and just disturbing in a very human way, very uncanny, I should say. But then with the rest of it, I wanted to my idea was destroy the human form. I specifically wanted to add mass to certain areas to kind of exaggerate certain features and to kind of shape the silhouette into something that was just odd instead of just looking like a person bent over. By the way, those stilts really hurt my hands because putting my weight on my hands for so long like a gorilla is just it does things to you. Especially lower back too. That really hurts. I need to get better stilts actually for the next costume I make. Yeah, walking around this thing, I have to stand up to rest, and I can't really sit down or anything because the feet are just so tall. Well, they're not super tall, but they're just tall enough to where I can't sit in like a normal chair, or else there's just no getting up. But I've always noticed I've kind of always drawn like creatures or aliens or dinosaur type things or with this kind of lurching form. It's a quadruped. It's got like kind of this hunched back. And then something coming off the back, like spikes or something like that. There's actually a alien dinosaur type creature specifically that I drew over the years named Emic. It basically shares Abyss's silhouette. Actually, the inspiration for Emic came from a silhouette that I saw on the side of a Hot Wheel car in the checkout line at Walmart when I was younger. I don't know what it was on the side of the Hot Wheel car. Like it was some graphic, and just I to this day I can't fathom what it could have been. But what I saw was this creature reaching out towards me, looking all menacing, and it just looked real cool, almost pouncing like a jaguar or something like that. And just gave me this idea for this creature, and I just drew him. And then from him, I started drawing other creatures and other characters and building all these different worlds and heroes and villains and all this different thing. And then, well, that spawned all kinds of stuff that I never did anything with. But who knows, maybe one day. Anyway, I'm really happy with how Abyss turned out, especially the second form. His final form, I suppose I kind of want a final form. If I could do anything else to it, I'd want it to be bigger and thicker just because it's supposed to be, Abyss 2.0 evolved and bigger. But, I got much better quality hands from that time, and I think the silhouette's still really good. I just need to just beef them up a little bit more just to make them feel, ultimate and powerful and unstoppable. One thing Abyss gets compared to is some creature on Stranger Things. Many people have said it, yet no one's told me what it is or can show me what it looks like. So I don't know. I've never seen Stranger Things. Anyway, another thing that gets brought up is actually the Landstrider rabbit things from Dark Crystal, which first off, super creepy movie. Like what the heck? Anyway, I love those things. I thought those were the coolest things as a kid. Now, one creature I always compare Abyss to is Moder, I think is how you say it, from The Ritual, 2017. Not anyone else has really compared it to that, but I kind of want to because I think that's a very sick design, and I like to think that I could be associated with that in some way. But no, it's a really beautiful, beautiful creature design. Just super creative, and I'm a little jealous. But I think Abyss is unique enough on his own. Unless you compare him to something like Venom, because I guess if Abyss had powers of some kind or something, it would be kind of manipulation and twisting and deforming a little bit, kind of like Venom. But I'd like to think that Abyss stays a bit more rigid and just kind of goes through his stages slowly over time. I suppose, though, if Abyss was to be compared to any creature in terms of behavior, any horror character or creature, it would actually be the Babadook. You see, I haven't quite worked it all out yet, but I do want to make a short film with Abyss. I want to do something with it. However, describing its powers, its abilities, what it does in the story, what it symbolizes, all this different stuff, has been kind of difficult. But I really like the Babadook because it represents the main character's resistance and pain and the things that she just doesn't want to face. And this darkness, it builds in her and it builds in her and it manifests in these dangerous ways. I don't know, I initially didn't really care for the movie. I just thought it had a few good moments. But after watching it more, I was like, okay, this actually means something. It's deeper. And so I'm like, okay, well, I want that for Abyss. And a lot of the same things, too. Abyss is, what is he? He's the Abyss. What is the Abyss? He's the darkness. Okay, what does that mean? He's the deep, deep darkness. Okay. The best thing I can correlate that to is what's in Jungian psychology known as the shadow, which is where basically every human being has the shadow, every single one of us, and it's where we repress certain qualities about ourselves. It's things that we consider bad about ourselves, or the society has told us is bad about ourselves, and just over time we've just shoved it down in the deep darkness, and we try not to even think about it, and we just ignore it, and we don't face it. The bad parts about ourselves, we try to see that in others and try to use that excuse, and we don't want to face the darkness. It's dark, it's scary, it's uncomfortable. It's the abyss. The most horrifying parts of human nature, the darkness within, and it lurks down there until one day it surfaces, and maybe one night you look off in the distance and you see a figure watching you. Alright, that's enough of the dramatics. Thank you so much for watching.